Welcome to Real Person Reviews. My name is Sam and I'm a real person, and today I want to talk to you about Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. My very first Nintendo Switch review, and there's not a whole lot to say up front other than I did 100% complete this game as of the recording date of this, which is probably going to be pretty close to the upload date. So if there's any more updates they decide to put in here later, I guess I haven't done those. But the only thing I really haven't done in here is the co-op. I haven't really played it in co-op because I didn't have anyone to play with. But other than that, I've done like 100% everything. So that's something I don't necessarily always do, especially when there's a lot to do, but I did that here. And it's also a written review that's going to be linked in the description if you want to check that out before or after, or instead of this. But I think that's all we got to preface. So let's jump right in to some Super Mario Odyssey. And also, I guess one other quick thing is that I might accidentally call this Super Mario Galaxy because they sound close, and they're both 3D Mario games. So if I ever make the slip in there of accidentally calling this Super Mario Galaxy, just know that I meant Odyssey. And we'll be good. So Super Mario Odyssey is a 3D collect-a-thon platformer adventure game. It's the plot, I guess, is more basic, like you kind of would expect from a Mario game, where it kind of starts off as Mario is facing off against Bowser, who has kidnapped Princess Peach, and the thing is, he's actually trying to set up a wedding for them, and so Bowser is basically decided to go around the world and just steal all of the things that he needs to set up the ceremony and all that for the wedding. So himself and his group of minions that are like this weird, like, bunny-themed minions called the Broodals, are going around to the different kingdoms throughout the world and just stealing all the stuff they need to make Bowser's wedding the best dang wedding, forced wedding that there is and has ever been, and whatnot, and what have you. And actually, in the first opening cutscene, Mario ends up losing to Bowser, gets knocked down, wakes up in this kingdom, this Cap Kingdom full of hat-themed people. Basically, they're just like, think of like ghosts with hats on. They're kind of like that. The ghosts of hats. This is what they look like. The one that is giving you a lot of the backstory, Cappy, explains to you that the tiara that Princess Peach has is actually his companion, and Bowser has kidnapped her as well. So they kind of have this common goal, like we have to get our friends back, kind of thing. And so Cappy joins forces with Mario as his hat, since Mario's hat fell off in the scuffle, and also helps him get an airship of his own to help chase Bowser around the world. And his airship is this big hat-shaped airship called the Odyssey, hence the name. As far as like what you do in the game, it's some standard kind of Mario stuff you might expect from 3D Mario games. Like, it's a collect-a-thon thing, so the main thing you're collecting are power moons. You use these to power up the Odyssey and make its balloon larger and just allow it to keep sailing to these different kingdoms, which are the different levels in the game. And every level has moons to collect, and there's lots of different ways to collect them. It might be, just beating bosses, completing mini challenges, doing mini games, just finding really suspicious areas. Sometimes you have to do like small little quest things for NPCs in the level. Some of them are like these picture hints where you find like a picture in a kingdom and it's like a picture hint, and if you use that in a different kingdom, you have to kind of figure out what kingdom that relates to and what you're supposed to do there to get that moon. Just tons of different ways to get moons, and there's tons of moons, and there's hundreds of moons in this game. You only need to get so many to progress, and also, when you first go to a kingdom, generally there are a few specific objectives you have to do. Generally that will get you power moons, and you need to only get a certain number to progress and do these certain objectives to be able to move on with the game's plot. But you can always go back, and generally once you go back to a kingdom after you've already done the main objectives, things have changed a bit. There are more things kind of added and around there, more things for you to do. Also, there are regional coins to collect in each kingdom, which are these purple coins that are specific to that kingdom. You use those in the shops because every kingdom has a shop. There's a side where you use normal coins. They're not used for extra lives now, but you can use normal coins to buy things, and also a spot where you can only use the regional coins to buy things. And there's either going to be 50 or 100 regional coins, depending on how big the kingdom is. Usually you buy outfits or souvenirs to put in the Odyssey, or stickers to put out on the outside of the Odyssey to kind of mark your travels. And sometimes you need the outfits to gain access to places to get more moons. There are also the normal shops usually have outfits you can get. Generally it's like outfits and hats. You can buy a different hat and a different outfit, and you can mix and match the hats and outfits to put them on Mario to make them look however you want. And you can also usually buy a power moon in each shop, and also this heart, this like king heart thing, where it's like, usually you only have 3 HP, so if you get hurt with that, like you lose all your HP, you die, which means you lose some coins and go back to your last checkpoint. Since there are no lives in this game, there's no extra lives going on. If you get the king heart thing, you go up to 6 HP until you go back down under 4. Once you go back down to 3 HP, you can't heal back up to the max 6 until you get another one of those king hearts. Which is a similar kind of thing I believe they did in Super Mario Galaxy, but with a different mushroom thing. You get the idea. And to heal, you have to either get more hearts, or you have to collect a power moon. There are like little checkpoint flags throughout the levels to mark where your checkpoints are, and also to act as warps, so you can warp between those different spots in the level. That's... Oh, you can also use your coins. For the other uses of coins, you can talk to a toad in each level. Usually once you come back to the kingdom, you can talk to a toad that's hanging out there, and he'll reveal the location of power moons to you for something like, I think it's 100 coins apiece. So then you get a little mark on the map, like, hey, there's a power moon here that you haven't collected that you can collect. And you can also talk to this bird called Talkatoo, who will tell you basically give you a hint for free that'll tell you the name of one of the power moons. And if you happen to look in your little menu of all the power moons you collected for that kingdom, you can see which moons Talkatoo has revealed to you and which ones Toad has revealed to you. So sometimes they'll line up, and like basically that's like there, so you can find those moons without going to the internet. Essentially, is what that's about. Then the other thing about this, because that's most of the progression of the game until you just get to the final, showdown. The other thing is about your abilities. How do you play as Mario? I mean, a lot of it is kind of standard stuff you've seen in other Mario games. You can run and jump and duck, and you can duck walk, you can roll, you can ground pound, and you can pound jump, you can jump and triple jump and wall jump and long jump. You can do a dive in midair. Probably some other things that are escaping me at the moment. But you get a lot more abilities. Basically, like, they try to incorporate Cappy into this as well, because he's not just your companion here helping you out on this quest. He's also actually has some unique abilities for Mario. So your attack is to throw Cappy out in front of you to hit things. You can hit enemies, and you can grab coins with them, and there's some interactable objects you can use Cappy on, like Sometimes you can grab onto certain like poles and like fling yourself off of them or something. If you shake the controller after throwing Cappy out, he'll home in on other like nearby objects and enemies. If you swing your controller sideways, Cappy will come out spinning and will spin around you in circles for a few spins before returning to your head. Also, when you throw Cappy, you get a little bit of a... If you're like in the air, it like gives you a little bit of extra air, even if it takes away some of your momentum. You can even do this like trick where you can jump, throw Cappy. If you hold the button down, Cappy will stay out for a little while also. And then you can jump onto Cappy that's being held out there and jump off of Cappy. But there's this trick where you can essentially jump, throw Cappy out, hold that button down, then quickly hit pound and like you're not quickly hit pound, but you hit pound and then quickly hit attack again, and you'll dive outwards in midair. And then if Cappy is already out there, you can dive and hit Cappy to bounce off of Cappy's head, and that lets you reset your jump one time. Now, you can try to do it again, but it won't let you keep infinitely jumping off of Cappy. You can still do it at least once. So there's a lot of moves that Mario can do in this game. But the main thing that Cappy does, that is the big thrust of this game, is that Cappy can be thrown onto certain enemies and possess them. And you then can take control of those enemies and use their abilities. They're not all enemies, I guess, but I just kind of say enemies as a blanket term here. Different creatures, I guess, maybe is the way to say it. So, like, for just a couple of examples, like, early on in the game, you're like, through the kind of tutorial-y section, you'll be like, okay, you possess a frog. And then when you're the frog, you can jump pretty high by jumping. You can jump even higher if you shake the the controller, and you'll jump even higher. You could also possess a Goomba, and Goombas can jump on top of other Goombas and make these Goomba towers that you can use to reach really high places you can't normally reach as just Mario. And then you can just jump out of them to stop possessing them and continue onwards. I mean, you can't take them through doors or warp with them or anything, but so they're just kind of stuck to certain sections, but the game is mostly based around, like, a lot of the moons you get and a lot of the puzzles you need to solve. A lot of things are done by possessing these different creatures and using their abilities where Mario's won't work. And that's kind of the biggest thrust of the game, I think, is using interactivity to do that, and what sets it apart more from other, the other 3D platformer collect-a-thon type games. And I think that's mostly it for the information dump, is that's a lot of things to say, but it's all pretty simple once you're playing it and doing it. But the game is absolutely fantastic. There's just the way the collection actually works too. It's like there is a ton of stuff to get. It's at least not like overwhelming in the sense of like you feel like you have to get so much of this stuff. Like you can, like, the amount you need just to get through the game and experience the story. There's not too many you need to get. It's not too difficult. There's definitely a lot of options where it's like I could get these, but I might want to get these instead because these are easier or whatever. You can kind of pick and choose if you're not as good of a player, or if you're just a more casual player and don't care about completion or anything like that. It's you just want to go through the game and have fun with it. Then there's that. But there's still a semblance of challenge there. It's not just, I'll pick all the easiest moves and just beat the game like nothing. There are still some specific objectives you have to do, beating certain bosses, getting certain moons, so that there is still a semblance of a difficulty curve on top of that. It's not just like, I'm just going to do whatever and I'll beat the game. So I like that there's still some structure there, and some challenge along with a lot of that freedom. And for getting all of the stuff, too, it's not too bad. There are some that are going to be frustrating, some that are going to be maybe a bit annoying, but overall, they're all doable. Like, I can do it, so you can do it. They're all doable. Nothing feels ridiculously hard, or that something that practice and patience won't solve. And that makes them more rewarding to get, rather than just, going through and being like, wow, all of these were just really simple and fun. No, it's like some of these are going to be harder, but you're going to remember that more because you're going to feel accomplished once you actually get some of those harder ones, and have that metered by the some of them that were a lot more just fun or interesting to collect, or even some of them that were flat out easy to collect. And like a lot of them are that way, just because Mario, controls really well in this game. The control is very smooth. There's so many different like moves and maneuvers, and like especially for some of the later moons, you will need to master those if you're going for full completion of this. So that actually makes you feel pretty cool once you really understand all the techniques and use all of them. But you don't even have to use all the advanced techniques to get through some of the, just the basic, the main game and the story of the game. So that's it's just really interesting the way that it's balanced that way. Coins are done really well. I think it is really cool that coins aren't about one-ups now, but they still get you things. So when you die, death matters because you're losing coins. You probably want coins to have Toad help you locate moons you don't have any idea about. Having Talkatoo also talk to you and having them work in tandem. It's a really cool way to, again, avoid looking at the internet. It was like looking at a walkthrough makes me feel like a cheater. But if it's here in the game and it's a way for me to do that, and I still have to kind of earn my way to it with these coins, that makes it feel like I earned it, even if I didn't earn it through just finding it on my own. It's kind of nice because then it doesn't make you feel like a total like moron or something that you don't understand. Like, what am I supposed to do? No, it'd just be some little thing you're missing. So that's great. And the progression of this, like the pacing and like the flow was really nice. Where there were a couple of twists and turns of like I didn't expect that. I was like, I pretty much know where this is going, and then it's like, okay, no, to calm down. Like you're gonna go and do like a smaller kingdom now, and you're gonna do like a shorter one or an easier one now here in the middle of here, and just like relax, have some fun again. Because the last thing you did was just tough, so just take it a little easy here. You're still playing the game, you're still having fun, but like we're gonna slow it down a bit. We're gonna change pace a little bit here. It's like interesting the way it kind of flows like that. The way things are executed, it didn't really feel like it dragged on, nor did it feel like it was just a constant, like, this is getting harder and harder and I have to just stop or something, like, it doesn't feel like you're going to hit a wall because you're like, maybe it'll get easier, maybe it'll get harder, I don't know. And it kind of keeps you on your toes and it keeps you invested. It's a really interesting way of doing that, and I'm surprised that it worked, because I wouldn't necessarily even think that idea would work, on paper, but it does, in practice here. Oh, and like the regional coins are cool because not even so much that, the stuff you get for them isn't that great, other than it's proof that you got enough of these coins. But it's cool because they're another thing to look for that are giving you more of an excuse to explore all the little nooks and crannies of the level. The levels definitely do feel like there's a lot of, like, hey, let's put stuff here because then, like, this is an interesting little thing we've got here. And, like, if somebody goes out of their way to find this little, like, area, there these are. A lot of times with just, like, a nice little incremental, like, while you're still walking around a kingdom, it gives you a reason to keep exploring and looking for stuff, because it's like, well, maybe I'll find the other moons while I'm looking for these coins, or maybe I'll find these coins while I'm looking for these moons, and then you're just kind of invested in, like, I want to make sure I see everything, so I'll know that I've seen everything and done everything once I get all of these things. It's a great way to keep you invested in exploring and doing things, even though you don't even necessarily need to get most of the regional coins. In fact, I don't know, there might be a few moons where you need some, but I'm not even sure if that's necessarily true. It might be, but, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's just a really fun thing to be collecting these without it being anything too crazy for you to collect, and just the amount of, like, fun little, like, bits of, like, variety and, like, the tons of, like, detail. There's even a lot of stuff where it's, like, almost nothing in this game is a complete one-off. There might be some things I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but a lot of the things that come up are like concepts and mechanics that will come up again, at least at one other time later in the game, and done in a way so it's like it doesn't feel like they recycle the stuff so much as they just use it again, so it's like you're not just doing this thing once and then forgetting it. It's do this and then you're going to need to use this later, and implement parts of those mechanics and skills into other things you're doing in the game. And just in the general progression of the game, too, like, your skill builds as you play through it, and that's part of the progression, and rather than making you, like, wait until you learn how to do a move, or learn how to do, something with Cappy, or anything like that, the whole game is just like, no, you have all your techniques and mechanics and everything, you know everything right away from the start of the game, you have all that stuff on you. And the progression is more in getting confident in how you use it and how you explore and what you're doing. So you can, like, on repeat plays, you can start off and be like, I know how to do all these cool things. I can get all this stuff now that I originally when I was playing it I didn't think I could do, and I thought I had to come back later for. A lot of stuff you don't have to. So it's just, I don't know, just a wonderful bits of design. Like, if there's a place you can go or a thing you can think of to do, or something, like, oh, I'm going to wear this outfit and talk to this person, or I'm going to go off to this edge and try to jump over and do this thing. Like, if you can go somewhere or do something, there's going to be some kind of, there's going to be something there for you, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you can think of it, Nintendo has probably thought of it too, and there's something there to reward you for thinking of doing it and actually following through on it. And that's just so fantastic. There's just so much polish, and there's, like, so many little details that, things you wouldn't even necessarily even notice until you decided to do this one random thing, and it's likely that a lot of people won't even necessarily do these things, so the fact that they're there is just all the more, like, great, and it's, I don't know, it's quite the wild ride, indeed. And for negatives, I don't even have a whole lot. One of them, I guess, would be the balloon game, which, that's a thing that was added as an update, free update. It's a great way to get coins, because you go in and you can hide balloons in all the kingdoms, and then people online will go in and try to find and pop your balloon, and every time they try to, you'll get coins for them doing that. You can also go and try to find the balloons they've hidden in kingdoms, and you get coins every time you pop ones of those. And that's a great way to make tons of coins. But the problem with that is, just if you want to, again, for full completion, if you're trying to get the rank 50 in that, you have to do so much. There's so much grinding of that little mini game thing, to the point where you're getting more coins than you can even use. There was not even, by the time I was done with it, I really didn't even need most of my coins. I was still maxed out on coins, and all I was doing was just, repeatedly looking for balloons over and over and over again. Imagine playing a level and trying to find somebody's balloon within a time limit and pop it 800 times. And that's not even counting all the times you might mess up because you couldn't find their balloon. It's not worth doing, but it's only really worth doing to know that it's not worth doing. But I could do it, so I did, for completion. That isn't really all that fun after a certain point. Once you don't need to play it anymore, I would say you don't necessarily bother with that. I don't like the way that you can't do everything in a level the first time you're there. I kind of would like it if I could just get everything right away, but the way the game is kind of set up, you're supposed to have to come back, and you're supposed to kind of change, and so to add that feeling of adventure, be like, no, now you kind of done this, and now things are different now, and now there's more stuff open to you. I guess it's good for the flow of the story and that kind of, the feeling of it, making it feel like more of an adventure rather than just, here's a level, and here's another level, and whatnot. But, I guess I did get kind of annoyed that I have to keep coming back to levels later, because it's I think there's more to do here, but then, you do everything finally, and then, you come back later. It's I guess there's more now. I was already here. Why couldn't I do it before? I don't know. That was kind of annoying. I also thought some of the mechanics were a little rough. Sometimes on doing, some of the creatures you possess are kind of awkward to control. Or, I think there's, running on ice and stuff. There's just certain parts where, even if it's understandable then that your control is kind of slippery and floaty or something, there definitely were a few moons where I got very frustrated with things that didn't really feel so much like my fault as the fault of the crappy mechanics or the crappy controls or handling. But at the same time, it's I still felt rewarded once I finally got them, and I practiced at them, and I tried to basically adjust to how it reacted. It didn't feel inconsistent, at least, which was nice. It just didn't feel as tight and fun as most of the other controls in the game. I don't know if there's a whole lot else to complain about there, other than I guess there's not really a whole a great reward for full completion. And honestly, a lot of people, I think, especially considering this is a collect-a-thon game, I think there are a lot of people who are going to jump into this and be like, I want to get 100% of everything. And they're going to want to do that every time because that's just something they like doing. And the length of even disregarding the whole coin game, balloon world, bonus crap, that's a lot to do. I think that it's not the kind of game you're going to be popping in again like you would a Super Mario 64 or a Banjo-Kazooie or something that you can sit down and do. You know, it might take you a few days, maybe a week or something, but it doesn't take you that long to get through all of it. And I feel like Super Mario Odyssey is going to take you quite a long time every time you decide to run through the whole thing again. And that might be a little off-putting. But I'm definitely going to play Super Mario Odyssey again, and I'm probably not going to do the whole Balloon World thing, but getting all the moons, I'll probably do that. It was awesome, it was fun. Getting all the balloons was fun, getting all of the moons was unique and fun or challenging, or there's all these things. There's such a huge variety of stuff to do, and it just feels great to play, and it's so fun, and I love that this kind of game can still exist, that we can get a modern, brand new 3D platformer collect-a-thon game, and it's not something that, basically this is not something that has to be dead. The only reason that this genre is dead is because game companies are deciding not to make them anymore. They're deciding that they're just not in anymore. And this proves that this kind of game can be not only an amazing game, even still, but also a financially viable game, so there's not really much excuse other than not wanting to put in the effort. I'm not certain that a whole lot of games are going to be as great as this one, if they're going to be in this genre, but, you know, I don't know, this is probably one of my favorite 3D platformer collect-a-thons now. It's so goddamn good, and absolutely will play it again. I destroyed this game. I consumed this game like immediately, and it's wonderful. And if you have a Switch, this is the game you should have for your Switch. This is what you get a Switch for. And if you're on the fence about getting a Switch, this game should be what puts you over the fence. It's wonderful, and I can't recommend it enough. So do play it, because it's holy shit. Like, I am not disappointed at all. I don't even really go into the whole hype thing either. But even I can say that this game has been pretty accurately praised for a lot of the amazing things it does. So just, I don't know, play it. I don't have much else to say other than you get to see Peach in a wedding dress. And if that doesn't make you want to play this game, then get the fuck off my channel.